far left lane that's not passing anyone. That's Evan Cohen, y'all. That is Evan Cohen. If I were a cop, I would pull him over and give him a ticket for doing that. Absolutely. Too slow. The far left lane is for passing only. If you're not passing anyone, get the hell out of the way. It's the fast lane. There's a travel lane, there's a passing lane. If you're just sitting there, not overtaking anyone, why are you even in the passing lane? Should Evan Cohen always be in the middle lane? No, Evan Cohen should be in the far right lane, always, because he's going to be driving slower than everyone else, and everyone else will be passing him. I'll be honest, I'm a little nervous about riding to the airport with him on our trip to Wisconsin for the NFL draft. I feel like this is one of those situations where I need to get in the car, close my eyes, and just hope for the best. Otherwise, I'm going to go crazy watching him block traffic. And yes, there will be footage, because as we head to Wisconsin for the NFL draft, brought to you by ESPN, there will be plenty of fun along the way. But here's something we just realized. CC and I are on the same flight, and our social media and digital guy, Rob, is also on the same flight. Normally, I take Rob to the airport when we travel. We always ride together. But this time, he'll be in the back seat, camera in hand, filming me while I sit next to Evan Cohen, wanting to strangle him for his driving. I can't wait to see this play out. Not excited about it. Not thrilled. Now, let's shift to Deion Sanders, who spoke yesterday on the Skip Bayless show about his son, Shedeur Sanders, and where he could potentially be drafted. His words carry weight, not just as a former NFL great, but as a father and a coach who understands the business of football better than most. Shedeur, according to Deion, has had extensive conversations about his potential landing spots. I know where his heart is. I know where he wants to go. That's a significant statement. Then he starts listing teams: New York, Tennessee, Cleveland, the Raiders, New Orleans. If it's any of those teams that are seeking a quarterback, I'm happy with it, because I know what he's going to do for that organization, he said. But let's break that down. The first thing that stands out is how Deion framed his response. He emphasized still the Raiders, which is interesting given that Shedeur has long been linked to Las Vegas. But just as notable, perhaps more so, is that he led with New York. That's not an accident. That's intentional. And what makes it even more fascinating is that he didn't specify the Giants. He said New York. That means the Jets could be in play. And let's look at the draft board. Per ESPN bet, Shedeur is plus 300 to be the number 2 pick and plus 1,800 to go third overall. There's movement happening. The Giants, sitting at number 3, have been linked to Travis Hunter. If they go in that direction, then the draft truly starts at number 4. Let's think about the board as it stands. Tennessee is expected to take a quarterback at number 1. Cleveland, at number 2, has been heavily linked to Abdul Carter. New York at number 3, whether it's the Giants or the Jets, seems poised to take Hunter. So that means number 4, where the New England Patriots sit, is the real pivot point. That's where the chaos could start. And that's where Deion's words start to make even more sense. Because if Shedeur isn't taking the top 3, then a team that desperately needs a quarterback is going to have to move up to get him. And guess what? The teams Deion mentioned, New Orleans, the Raiders, the Jets, are all sitting there as prime candidates to trade up. This is where the business side of the draft comes into play. Deion isn't just talking as a proud father. He's speaking as a strategist, as a businessman, as a marketer. He's drumming up demand for his son. He's letting the league know Shedeur is willing to play anywhere. But if you want him, you better come get him. And the Raiders, if they had their way, they'd still love to land him. Shedeur has long been linked to Las Vegas. Tom Brady is one of his mentors. There was that photo a few months back of him in Brady's inner circle. It all makes sense. But now, Deion is making it clear, Vegas isn't the only option, and that's going to drive up the price. Now, let's talk about what a move from number 9 to number 4 would actually cost. If New Orleans, for example, wants to leap from the 9th pick to the 4th, that's a difference of 550 points on the draft value chart. That's the equivalent of a future first-round pick. And honestly, if I'm New England, I'd take that deal in a heartbeat. You're moving down to number 9, still in range for a premium offensive tackle, the kind of foundational piece this team needs. And in return, you're getting an additional first-rounder. That's an easy decision. Meanwhile, Cleveland at number 2 is the wild card. They're being heavily linked to Abdul Carter. But should they be? If I were running that franchise, I'd take Shedeur. I would have also signed Russell Wilson. But that's assuming Wilson even wanted to go there. And let's be real, Cleveland and New York offer two very different lifestyles. That's not nothing. We saw Wilson walk into the Giants facility with Sierra, and let's just say, she seems like more of a New York girl than a Cleveland girl. More opportunities. Bigger market. Makes sense. Now, shifting gears slightly, did you see Ashton Janney's pro day? My God, he plays running back. But he looked like a monster. Built like an Olympic bodybuilder. The dude is an absolute specimen. But here's the thing, he's a running back. And that raises a question. Where do you take a guy like that in today's NFL? The running back position has undergone a renaissance. But the irony is that none of those star backs, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, are with the teams that originally drafted them. That's the dilemma. But for the Raiders, who just hired Pete Carroll, this might be the exception. Carroll has already said he wants to get back to running the football. What better way to do that than by drafting Janney? Pair him with Geno Smith. Let him learn behind a veteran quarterback. And suddenly, you're building an offense that looks a whole lot like Carroll's old Seattle teams. That's an intriguing possibility. But again, if you're the Raiders, what's more valuable? Trading up for a franchise quarterback or staying put and grabbing a potential star running back? That's the dilemma. And that's why this draft is shaping up to be one of the most fascinating in years. The quarterback market is unpredictable. The teams in the top 10 all have different needs, different agendas, and different levels of desperation. And Deion Sanders? He's playing the game masterfully. By keeping all options on the table, he's creating leverage. And in a league where perception drives value, that could be the difference between Shedeur Sanders being a top 3 pick or slipping further down the board. Buckle up. This is going to be a wild ride.